Konnichiwa, Japan fans. In today's show, we're going to look at KPIs. Zaegyo desu. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. This is the 5th year of the Sales Japan Series podcast, broadcasting around the world from the Beverly Hills of Japan, Minato-ku, here in downtown Tokyo. It is chic central. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, your corporate coaching and training guy committed to your success, the president of Dale Carnegie Training Tokyo, Japan, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, Japan Business Mastery, and my new book, Japan Presentations Mastery. And they're all available on Amazon. In this podcast, I want to help you to survive COVID-19. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn, who, unlike many other podcast hosts, have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on iTunes. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Tuesdays, the Presentation Japan Series. Every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan Series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan Series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show. And Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. This is episode number 264. Today we're talking about our personal sales KPIs. In this episode, we will look at KPIs, or key performance indicators. These are activities which, when carried out effectively, lead to revenue results. There are also behavioural aspects to KPIs which are important and shouldn't be neglected. Everyone has their own business area, so the construct of the KPIs will vary across industries and sectors. What are they for you? Has your company already defined them for you and you were given them when you came on board? If we haven't been given KPIs already, then we can create them for ourselves. They provide good markers to know what we are doing and what we should be doing. First of all, we have to recognize that we cannot do everything, but we can do the most important things in our sales activity. So let's start thinking about what are the highest priority items we need to be doing to boost our sales. These could include things like the following. How many qualified leads do I have to work with each week? How many calls to clients do I need to make each week? How many of these calls are leading to appointments? How many of these appointments lead directly to agreed deals? How much am I selling on average per appointment gained? How many of my buyers become repeat buyers? We can be setting our own targets for the ratios between each step. It is a good practice to break big revenue targets down to activities, which, upon completion, will get us to the target. For example, if I have 100 leads to follow up, how many calls do I actually need to get through to the buyer? We can have a long list of numbers to call, but they are not answering. We get a message service. The gatekeeper faithfully promises they will pass on the message so that they will call back as they gracefully slide it straight into the bin. Of the small number of calls which get through to the buyer, how many leads do I need to get an appointment? Talking to the buyer and getting a meeting are planets apart. We have to be persuasive and spark their interest to allow us to take things to the next stage. What is my target for success in this area? What is the closing ratio I want for deals coming from meetings with buyers? These are very specific targets we are setting, and often we will fail. Over time, however, we will start to build up some reliable statistics which tell how strong we are in various stages of the sales process. We'll begin to see that there are some areas of weakness which we need to work on. Find out more. We come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public programs, but we also do custom-made in-house classes. Now, we do them in our super safe classroom, we do them live online, and we do them in Japanese, and we do them in English. Our show today is being sponsored by, on the 25th of November, in our professional leadership series, we're doing vision, mission, values. On the 2nd of December, we're doing, in the same professional leadership series, we're doing the innovation process. On the 7th and 8th of December, we're doing high impact presentations in Japanese. On the 9th of December, we're doing professional leadership, doing solving problems and making decisions. On the 14th, we're doing course preview. And on the 16th, we're doing, in the professional leadership series, we're doing the planning process. Check out our website, www.dale, D-A-L-E -Carnegie, CARNEGIE.co.jp. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, that's the Bible for selling in Japan, and Japan Business Mastery, and my new book, Japan Presentations Mastery. And they're all available on Amazon. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 1,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show in Japan, comes out Mondays. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show, and Sundays, Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders in Japan from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Now, every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. And don't forget, you can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. Our goals can have a range. We might have a number range that we can achieve comfortably. We might have a higher number, which is more difficult but realistic, and then we might have stretch targets. So, let's set some targets for ourselves, and once we establish some ratios, we will know how much activity is needed to reach our revenue targets. For example, 100 calls leads to 80 calls making contact with the buyer. Of these contacts, we meet 50 buyers. From these 50 buyers, we close 20 deals. The deals achieved from these 100 calls attempted add up to 1 million yen. If our revenue target is 2 million yen, then we know we have to make 200 calls and so on. Having specific targets for activity activates our time management skills. We know we have to schedule calls throughout the day in order to get to the number of people we need to make our target. It is no good just calling everyone from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. because some can be reached, but others will be better to call during lunch break. Others after 6 p.m. when the gatekeepers have gone home. Others from 8:30 in the morning. The point is to keep calling and keep trying different times of the day until we make contact. Starting the day with targets for activity and starting with no targets are such completely different approaches. Sales is a diabolical art where mostly you fail. So you need supreme discipline to do what needs to be done. We have to force ourselves to do the activities or we will never make enough activity effort to be able to hit the revenue targets. Once we know the ratios, we have a guide on how much we need to be doing. As we keep analyzing where we are struggling, we can work on our weaknesses and improve on them, thus advancing the overall ratio of success. Thank you for joining the Sales Japan series. If you found the program useful, please work on your karma and share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Immediately apply what you've learned today. Use it and go out there and survive. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guy in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.